Your home is supposed to be the safest place in your life. It's where you sleep, where you relax, where you let your guard down. But the people in these stories learned something disturbing. Sometimes the danger doesn't come from outside. Sometimes it's already inside the house. These are real home horror stories shared by people online. And one of them still doesn't have a clear explanation. Let's begin. Story number 1. The unlocked door. I've always been paranoid about locking doors. Deadbolt, chain, handle lock, every single night. So when I woke up at 1:32 a.m. to the sound of my front door closing, I knew something wasn't right. Not opening, closing, like someone had just come in. I stayed still in bed, staring at the dark ceiling. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe I imagined it. But then I remembered. There is no draft in my hallway. I grabbed my phone and opened my home security app. Front door is unlocked. I felt a rush of heat in my chest. I locked it before bed, I always do. I slowly got out of bed, careful not to make noise. That's when I heard it. A faint metallic clink from the kitchen, like someone gently setting down a spoon, not dropping it, placing it. I froze. The worst part, whoever it was, wasn't rushing. They were calm. I didn't go check. I locked myself inside my bedroom and called the police. When officers arrived, they searched the house. No forced entry. Nothing stolen. Windows locked. But the front door? Unlocked. And the deadbolt had small scratch marks around it, like someone had tried different keys. The officer asked me if I had given anyone a spare. I said no. 2 weeks later, the spare key I had hidden in a fake rock outside my porch was gone, and I never found out when it disappeared. Story number 2, the attic hatch. When we moved into the house, it felt perfect. Quiet neighborhood, no crime reports, friendly neighbors. The attic access was in the hallway ceiling. We never used it. One night at 3:07 a.m., my wife shook my shoulder.
Listen.
At first I heard nothing, then a slow dragging sound above us. Across the ceiling, not scratching like an animal, dragging, like something with weight. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe raccoons, maybe wood expanding. Then we heard a thud, a heavy one, directly above our bedroom. We both stopped breathing. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped into the hallway. The attic hatch was closed, still silent. I pulled the string and lowered it. Dust fell into my face. I shined the light around. Insulation, wood beams, nothing else. No movement, no sound. I felt stupid for being scared. We went back to bed. The next morning, the attic hatch was slightly open, not wide, just enough to notice it wasn't sealed. And in the thin layer of dust on the hallway floor, there were footprints, bare, human, leading from the attic hatch toward the guest bedroom, but not back. Story number 3, the late night knocking. I was 17 when this happened, home alone for the weekend. At 12:14 a.m., someone knocked on the front door. 3 slow knocks. I thought maybe it was a delivery mistake. I checked the peephole. Nothing. No car in the driveway. No one on the porch. 5 minutes later, 3 knocks again. But this time, from the back door. That's when my stomach dropped. Whoever it was had walked around the house. I turned off all the lights. Called my dad. While I was on the phone trying to explain, it happened again. 3 knocks. On my bedroom window. Upstairs. 2nd floor. There's no balcony. No ladder. Nothing to stand on. I couldn't even see the ground from that height. The police arrived and searched the property. Nothing. No footprints in the yard. No disturbances. They assumed someone was playing a prank. The next morning, I noticed something on the outside of my bedroom window. handprints smudged against the glass, at a height that shouldn't have been possible. Story number 4, the crawl space. We started hearing it 3 weeks after moving in. Scratching from beneath the floor. Our house had a crawl space under the living room's small dirt floor, barely tall enough to crouch in. At first, we thought it was rats. Then one night, while watching TV, we heard it clearly. Not scratching, breathing. Slow, uneven, directly beneath us. We muted the TV. It stopped. 10 minutes later, slow knocks from under the floorboards. My husband grabbed a flashlight and went outside to check the crawl space entrance. The wooden hatch was slightly open. We had never opened it. He crouched down and shined the light inside. Nothing but dirt and pipes. Then the beam landed on something near the back wall. A blanket, crushed water bottles, and empty food wrappers. Someone had been living under our house. The police searched immediately, but the crawl space was empty. No one found, no footprints leading away. Nothing stolen from inside the house, except one thing, a framed family photo from our hallway. It was gone. We moved out 2 weeks later, and sometimes I still wonder how long they were down there, listening. Your home feels safe because you control who comes in. You lock doors. You shut windows. You turn off the lights. You check behind the shower curtain. You glance down the hallway before bed. And once you're under the covers, you convince yourself nothing can touch you there. But sometimes, the danger doesn't need to break in. It doesn't need to smash a window. It doesn't need to force a lock. Sometimes, it finds another way, through a spare key, through a weak connection, through a place you never thought to check. And the scariest part? Most people don't realize something is wrong until it decides to let them know. So tonight, before you go to sleep, double-check your locks. Look at your doors one more time. Make sure the windows are sealed. And when the house goes quiet, when the lights are off, and the world outside feels still, listen carefully, because if you hear something, you'll have to decide whether it's just your imagination or something that was already there. If you enjoy realistic horror stories like these, subscribe to HiddenVerse for more real stories from people online stories. And remember, just because your home feels safe doesn't mean you are. Good night.